Hello, my name is Leah Sugarman. Welcome to your flow to crow pose or Bakasana. So no props are absolutely essential for this practice. All you'll need is your mat, so come to lie down on your back to begin. And simply bend into your knees, plant your feet to the floor. If it feels comfortable to you, you're welcome to knock your knees in toward each other. And just pause for a moment, relax the weight of your body down. You can rest your hands anywhere that's comfortable for you. You may wish to rest them onto your belly or by your sides. Just take a moment to connect to your breath. And if your hands are resting on your belly, feel the movement of the breath beneath them. And just set a stable rhythm to your breathing, something that can remain consistent throughout your practice. Even as things start to get a bit more challenging, as heat starts to increase, can you keep this same slow rhythm to your breath? And when you feel really connected to your breath, bend deeply into your knees and draw them in towards your chest. Hug everything in tightly. Gently sway your hips from side to side and just massage your lower back out against the floor. And then bring your legs back to center. Keep your toes touching and draw your knees apart from each other, but drawing in closely toward your armpits now. And then stretch your arms straight up toward the sky and bend at your wrist as if your hands are pressing up into the ceiling. So point your fingers back toward your face and spread your fingers wide. Reach up through the heels of your hands and the whole perimeter of your palms and imagine gripping at the ceiling with your fingertips. So create a lot of activation through your hands. And then draw your hips up away from the floor and slide your knees as high up your arms as you possibly can reach, reaching them in towards your armpits. And then energetically squeeze your legs into the midline against your arms and use the same amount of energy to press your arms out against your legs. Now keep all of this activation as you draw your heels in closely towards your seat and lift your head and chest up off the floor. Lift your shoulder blades off the floor and draw your shoulder blades apart from each other. Keep this strong activation through your arms. Squeeze your legs firmly into the midline. Round through your back body. Scoop your navel in and up. Draw your shoulder blades apart. Stabilize your breath. Take a deep inhale. Exhale, slowly relax. Let everything release back down to the floor. Draw your knees back into your chest. Give yourself a big hug. Again, sway your hips gently from side to side and massage your lower back. Now from here, stretch and extend both legs straight up toward the sky and reach your arms up toward the sky as well. Stretch up through your fingertips, energize your legs, squeeze them toward each other, and then flex your ankles, reach out through the balls of your feet and flare your toes, spread them wide. Hug in around your belly, draw your navel down toward the floor and then up toward your rib cage. And keep this much activation in your core and your legs as you lift your head and chest up away from the floor. Lift your shoulder blades away from the floor and round your upper back. Draw your shoulder blades apart from each other. Now you have the option to stay here exactly as you are, or you could play with lowering your legs toward the floor. So keep your lower back pressing into the mat and only lower your legs as far as you can keep your lower back grounded. Let them hover above the mat, squeeze them toward each other, round your upper back, draw your shoulder blades apart from each other. Stabilize your breath. Take a deep inhale. Exhale, bend deeply into your knees. Once again, draw them in toward your chest. Catch a hold behind your knees and gently rock and roll along the length of your whole spine. Start to gain some momentum until you can rise up into a seat. And then cross your ankles and roll forward onto all fours. So find a neutral tabletop position. Align your shoulders over your wrists and your hips over your knees. And then turn your fingers to point toward the outer edges of your mat. So turn your right fingers toward the right and your left fingers toward the left. And gently lean the weight of your whole torso toward the right. Come back to center and lean toward the left. Draw yourself back to center, lean to the right. Come back to center and lean to the left. And do this one more time in each direction. Keep the heels of your hands pressing firmly into the floor and just feel the release through your wrists. Now you're welcome to keep your hands as they are, or if it feels comfortable for you, you can slowly start to turn your fingers a little bit further toward your knees. So you might end up like halfway around. Maybe you have the mobility to reach your fingers all the way back to point towards your knees. So find whatever feels most comfortable for you right now. And then ground down into the heels of your hands. Option to stay as you are, or option to lean the weight of your hips back slightly to intensify the sensation of the stretch within your forearms. If you leaned your weight back, inhale, slowly draw your shoulders back over your wrists. Flip your fingers to point back toward the top of your mat and restore a neutral tabletop. Inhale, soften the weight of your belly toward the floor. Draw your shoulder blades toward each other. Peel open your chest and lift your gaze toward the sky. Exhale, ground down firmly into your palms. Round through your whole back body. Draw your navel in and up and draw your shoulder blades apart. Look towards your navel. Inhale, soften your belly toward the floor. Peel open your chest. Draw your shoulder blades together. Exhale, ground into your palms and round your back body. Inhale, relax your belly toward the mat. Hug your shoulder blades together. Open your heart forward. Exhale, press firmly into your palms and round your spine. So the next time you're in cat right now, stay here and ground firmly into your hands. Press the floor away and draw your shoulder blades further apart. Hug your navel in and up. Feel the tilt of your pelvis as you tuck your tailbone under. And keep all of this activation. Just simply lift your head and look forward between your hands. Press firmly against the mat. Draw your navel in. Inhale deeply. And exhale, slowly return to a neutral spine position. Lengthen the crown of your head forward. Reach your tailbone back behind you. And then inhale, reach and extend your right leg toward the back of your mat. Activate your foot strongly. Kick out through your heel, press out through the ball of your foot, and spread your toes. Shift your weight over into your right hand and rise to your left fingertips. Corset in around your waistline. Imagine tightening a corset three-dimensionally around your whole core. And then when you feel stable, stretch and extend your left arm forward in front of you. Lengthen from toe tips to fingertips. Really create space in your spine. Take a deep breath in. And then as you exhale, draw your elbow and your knee toward each other. As you round your whole back body, draw your shoulder blades apart, hug your navel in and up. Inhale, lengthen and extend straight back out. Exhale, curl in on yourself, draw elbow toward knee. Inhale, lengthen and extend out. Exhale, curl and round. Inhale, lengthen and extend. And exhale, release your hand and your knee back down to the mat. Return to your neutral tabletop, lengthen your back body, and sweep and extend your left leg back behind you. Activate your legs strongly. Kick out through your heel, press out through the ball of your foot, and spread your toes. Root your weight into your left hand and rise to your right fingertips. Corset in around your waistline, hug your navel in and up. And when you feel ready, reach and extend your right arm forward in front of you. Reach out through your right fingertips with the same energy as you kick back through your left foot. Inhale deeply. And exhale, draw your elbow and your knee toward each other as you round your whole back body. Hug navel to spine. Inhale, reach and extend back out. Exhale, curl and round in on yourself. Draw your shoulder blades apart. Inhale, reach and extend out. Exhale, round and curl in on yourself. Inhale, reach and extend. And exhale, release your hand and your knee back down to the mat. Return to your neutral tabletop. Now from here, walk your hands forward roughly 1 palm's distance. Spread your fingers wide and evenly spaced between them. And then root down firmly into the perimeter of your palm and grip at the mat with your fingertips. Keep this much action in your arms as you press down against the floor and lift up out of your shoulders. Ever so slightly round your upper back, draw your shoulder blades apart. Tuck all 10 toes underneath, course it in around your waistline, draw your navel in and up, and keep this action as you lift your knees from the floor and send your sit bones high into downward facing dog. Option to bend your knees as much as you'd like to here, but really focus on your arms today. So root down into your palms, lift up out of your shoulders, and then create lots of length through your back body as you send your sit bones toward the ceiling. Spread your fingers, ground down into the perimeter of your palms. On an inhale, sweep your right leg straight up toward the sky. Square your hips to the floor and point your toes directly to the mat. Hug in around your belly and use the strength of your core. Try and lift your leg like a millimeter higher, just a drop higher. Inhale deeply here. And as you exhale, draw your knee in towards your nose, round your whole back body, and stack your shoulders over your wrists. Option to lower your left knee down. Inhale, sweep and extend your right leg back up to the sky. Exhale, draw your right knee in toward your upper right arm as high as you can reach it as you shift your weight forward in toward a plank. Inhale, sweep and extend your right leg back up toward the sky. Exhale again, draw your knee in toward your nose, round your back body. Inhale, sweep and extend back up high. Exhale, draw your knee back towards your upper right arm as high as you can reach it. And then step your foot on the outside of your right hand and soften your back knee to the floor. Ground down into your palms, or if it feels better, you're welcome to rise up onto your fingertips. Relax the weight of your pelvis down toward the floor. Let your hips become heavy. And then focus on lifting and lengthening your spine up away from your pelvis. So lengthen your whole back body as you stretch the crown of your head forward. Energetically, draw your right knee into the midline of your body. Press your right knee against your upper right arm. And then use the same amount of energy. Press your upper right arm against your inner right knee. Inhale deeply here. And then as you exhale, root firmly against your fingertips or your palms and round into your back body. Draw your shoulder blades apart from each other. Hug in around your belly and scoop your navel in and up. Keep squeezing your right knee into the midline. Keep this much action as you tuck your back toes underneath and lift your back knee up off the floor. Keep the rounding in your spine, but look forward. Activate your back leg. Kick through your heel, lift your thigh bone high. Scoop your navel in and up. Squeeze your right knee against your inner right arm. Press your arm against your knee. Inhale, lean your weight forward toward the tips of your toes. Move your shoulders past the crease of your wrists. And exhale, send your weight back. Align your shoulders back over your wrists. Inhale, lean your weight forward. Exhale, draw your weight back. Align shoulders over wrists. Inhale, lean your weight forward. This time, stay forward as you bend your elbows straight back behind you and lower roughly halfway to the floor. Inhale, press the floor away, rise back up, and send your hips up and back into downward facing dog. Draw your right foot to meet your left. Elongate your back body as you root firmly into your hands. Inhale, roll your weight forward into plank. Align your shoulders over your wrists. Exhale, send your sit bones high into downward dog. Inhale, roll your weight forward into plank. Exhale, send your sit bones high. Inhale, roll your weight forward into plank. And then soften your knees to the floor. Elongate your back body, scoop in around your belly and lengthen your whole spine. Inhale, lean your weight forward, move your shoulders past the crease of your wrists. And then exhale, draw your shoulders back to align over your wrists. Inhale, lean your weight forward. Exhale, lean your weight back. Inhale, lean your weight forward. This time, stay forward as you bend your elbows straight back behind you. Lower about halfway to the floor. Hug in around your belly and then press the mat away. Rise back up into your modified plank. Tuck your toes, lift your hips, back to downward dog. Root firmly into your palms. Lift up out of your shoulders. On your next inhale, sweep your left leg up toward the sky. Square your hips to the floor, so inwardly spiral your thigh bone to face down toward the mat. Make sure your toes point directly to the floor. Equalize your weight in both hands, draw in around your belly, and then use the strength of your core to lift your leg just a centimeter higher, a millimeter, whatever it is, just to drop higher. Inhale deeply here. And as you exhale, draw your knee in toward your nose as you round your whole back body and shift your weight forward into plank. Stack your shoulders over your wrists. Inhale, sweep and extend your left leg back up toward the sky. Exhale, this time draw your left knee towards your upper left arm as high as you can reach it. Align your shoulders over your wrists. Inhale, sweep your left leg back up. Exhale, draw your knee in towards your nose, round your back body. Inhale, sweep your leg high. Exhale, draw your knee toward your upper left arm as high as you can, and then release your foot to the floor on the outside of your left hand, and soften your back knee to the mat. Option to remain on your palms, option to rise up to your fingertips. Find the position that gives you the most space to elongate and lengthen your back body. Sink the weight of your hips low, and then counter this by lifting your spine up away from your pelvis. Energetically, squeeze your left leg into the midline of your mat. Squeeze it in against your upper left arm. And then use the same amount of energy. Press your left arm back out against your left leg. Take a deep breath in. And as you exhale, root firmly against your palms or your fingertips and round through your whole back body. Draw your shoulder blades apart from each other, scoop your navel in and up, and just notice the tilt within your pelvis as you do this. Reach your tailbone toward your back knee. Keep all of this as you lift your gaze and look forward. Tuck your back toes underneath and lift your back knee off the floor. Keep pressing against the mat to round your upper back. Inhale, lean your weight forward. Move your shoulders past the crease of your wrist. Roll to the very tips of your right toes. Exhale, draw your weight to align your shoulders back over your wrists. Inhale, lean your weight forward. Exhale, draw your weight back. Inhale, lean your weight forward. This time, stay here. Keep this curling in of your back body. Hug your navel in and up. And exhale, bend your elbows straight back behind you. Lower about halfway to the floor. Squeeze your leg against your arm. Press down against the mat to rise back up. Hug your navel in and up. Press the floor away. And send your left leg back as you send your hips high back into downward facing dog. Inhale, roll your weight forward into plank pose. Exhale, send your hips up high. Inhale, roll your weight forward into plank. Exhale, lift your hips high. Inhale, roll your weight forward into plank. Option to lower your knees. And then lean your weight forward, move your shoulders past the crease of your wrists. Exhale, draw your weight back. Inhale, lean your weight forward. Exhale, draw your weight back. Inhale, lean your weight forward and stay there. Bend your elbows roughly halfway to the floor. Inhale, press the mat away, rise back up. Send your hips up and back into downward facing dog. Root firmly into your hands, lift up out of your shoulders. Tune in with your breath. Inhale, look forward between your hands. Rise up high onto the balls of your feet and place a slight bend into your knees. Keep your hips held high. Lift up on your pelvic floor. Imagine you need to use the bathroom and you're holding in on those muscles. Keep that as you draw your navel in and up. Take a deep breath in. And then a breath out. And then at the bottom of your exhale, either step or lightly float your feet forward to the outsides of your hands. Turn your heels in and your toes out. Sink the weight of your hips low into a squat. Draw your hands to meet in front of your heart, and you can have your feet wide apart. You can be up on your heels. Just find a position here that feels comfortable for you. And then bring your palms together at your heart center. Press your hands into each other, and then press your elbows against your inner thighs. Use the same amount of energy to press your inner thighs back in against your elbows. Relax the weight of your tailbone toward the floor. Grow really tall through your back body. Now from here, release your hands, but keep pressing your elbows and your knees in toward each other. And then take your hands forward in front of you and spread your fingers really wide. Then draw your hands into fists, close in really tightly. And then open and expand, draw your fingers apart. Exhale, hug into a fist, curl everything in tightly. And then inhale, open and expand, spread your fingers wide. Exhale, curl into a fist. Inhale, open and expand. Now continue moving like this. Follow your own rhythm of breath. You could continue to move one breath, one movement, or if you want to, you could pick up the pace and move as fast as you can, making like these firework explosions with your hands. And start to feel some fire within your forearms as you do this. All the while, focus on your breath. Take another 2 deep breaths here. And when you finish, shake out your hands, let that go. And then plant your palms to the floor, roughly shoulder width apart. Spread your fingers wide and evenly spaced between them, and then ground down firmly into the perimeter of your palms. Gently grip at the mat like you're a cat clawing at the mat with your fingertips. Now keep this much activation in your hands and lift your hips up high. Heel ball toe your feet to touch. Option to bend your knees as much as you'd like to here to keep your palms grounded. Now from here, rise up high onto the balls of your feet and open your knees out wide. Slide your knees as high up your upper arms as you possibly can. Strive to reach toward your armpits if that's available. Now energetically squeeze your legs into the midline. That same action you've been working throughout this practice. Hug into the center of your body and then press your upper arms back out against your legs. Keep all of this as you root firmly against your palms and round into your back body. Scoop your tailbone down toward the floor, hug your navel in and up, and draw your shoulder blades apart from each other. Again, that same action you've been working through your practice. Keep this as you look forward, and then lean your weight forward. Move your shoulders past the crease of your wrists. That same action you've been working. Option to stay here exactly as you are. Option to lift one foot off the floor at a time and draw your heel in toward your seat. Option to keep leaning your weight forward, rounding your back, squeezing your legs into the midline until you reach that magical tipping point where your legs naturally become light and lift. And when they do, immediately squeeze them in toward your seat, round your spine, hug your belly in and up, squeeze your legs in against the midline, and stabilize your breath. If you've lifted, slowly release back down. Play around for a minute if you'd like, and whenever you're ready, meet in child's pose. So if you'd like to, you can have your knees together or apart in child's pose. Find what feels best right now. You're welcome to have your arms reaching forward or back behind you. Give yourself a moment to unwind and reconnect with your breath. And know that whatever just happened on your mat doesn't really matter. Just notice how you react to it. Now, on your next breath, slowly round up through your spine, rise up to sit. Release your hips over to one side so you can stretch your legs forward. And bend into your knees, plant your feet on the floor, roughly hip distance apart. And then take your hands back behind your hips, and your fingers could point behind you, they could point to the sides of your mat, or if you'd like to, you could point your fingers toward your toes. Then roll your shoulders down your back, hug your shoulder blades toward each other, and puff up through your chest, broaden your heart center. So kind of the opposite action you've been working through class. Roll your shoulders down your back, squeeze your elbows toward each other, broaden your chest. An option to stay here or ground down evenly into your hands and your feet and lift your hips up off the floor. Keep broadening your chest, open your heart center. If it feels good for your neck, you could look up toward the sky or even relax your head back. Expand and open your heart. Find this counter pose to all that forward work we were doing. Inhale deeply. Exhale, slowly release your seat to the floor and find your way onto your back. And keep your knees bent, keep your feet planted on the mat, roughly hip distance apart. Relax your arms by your sides and turn your palms to face up toward the sky. As you inhale, root firmly into your feet and your shoulders and lift your hips up off the mat. Option to stay here, option to slide one shoulder underneath at a time, and then interlace your fingers behind you. Again, broaden and open your chest. Create this opposite action of what you were working throughout your practice. Inhale deeply. Exhale to slowly release back down. Release your hands if they're behind you, and lower your pelvis to the floor. And from here, open your arms out wide, either into a T shape, or you could bend your elbows and create a cactus shape. And soften the weight of your shoulders to the floor as you drop both knees into your chest. Inhale deeply, and then exhale, slowly release both knees over toward your left. Soften the weight of your shoulders to the mat. On your next inhale, slowly come back to center. And then slowly release both knees over toward your right. Relax the weight of both of your shoulders to the floor. And then on your next breath, slowly draw your knees back in towards center. Give yourself a hug, draw everything in closely. Gently sway your hips from side to side. Massage your lower back out against the floor. Take a long, deep breath in. And as you exhale, release your legs forward in front of you. Relax your arms down by your sides. And either soften your gaze or close your eyes completely. And allow the full weight of your body to melt down toward the floor. Allow yourself to completely soften and surrender into this final resting pose, Savasana. slowly draw your awareness back to your breath and deepen its rhythm. Mindfully wiggle your fingers and your toes to invite some small, gentle movements back into your body. Reach your arms up above your head and lengthen from your fingers to your toes. Gently hug both knees back into your chest and roll over onto one side. Softly press the floor away from you to rise up into a comfortable seat. And just pause for a moment. Take notice of any changes that this practice may have created in your body or your breath or your mind. Bring your palms to meet in front of your heart and gently bow your chin in toward yourself, acknowledging yourself for showing up today. Thank you for sharing your practice. Namaste.